on our roller in a seated position. Now, I'm going to have my feet out for more stability. I'll be keeping my feet out as we sit down on our roller. Make it a comfortable spot. You might have to move around a little bit. Find that comfortable spot. Take a little shoulder roll as you roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Here comes the inhale. We're going to inhale our arms up. Exhale. Blow it all out. Here comes the inhale up. Exhale. Blow it out. One more time. Nice big inhale up. Exhale out. We're taking a side stretch. Bring your right arm up. Reach up over. Lengthen down the left side of your body. Now we still want to relax our bottom shoulder. Now we switch. Take the right arm up and take your side stretch off to the other side. From the side stretch, we are going to take a twist. Take a twist off to the right. And now let's take our twist to the left. Here comes the twist to the right, and be gentle. Take your twist to the left. We're meeting in the center. We're taking our seated cow cat. So you're going to lift your chest open, inhale. And here comes, pull your belly in, round through your spine. Here comes the inhale as you lift, open. Here is the exhale as you round, release. Take an inhale, open. Here's the exhale. Now one more time, inhale, think moving through your vertebrae here. Go ahead and release. We're bringing ourselves up, sitting up tall. We're gonna bring our arms halfway up and then flip, bring them down. So as we do this, we're gonna lift halfway up. I want you to start thinking, zip up the core, bring your rib cage in and together. We lift halfway up and then we flip, bring it down. This time, we're gonna take it a little higher. Can you bring it up a little higher and bring it down? Stay really stable through your torso here. You're reaching up to the side and bring it down. One more time like that. Inhale up. This time, we're gonna take our arms to the front halfway, up to your shoulders, and then you gently bring it down. I want you to start thinking, long spine, you're engaging through the core. And we want to watch our legs. They stay still. The only thing moving is our shoulder joint. And our arms are staying straight. You can start bringing them up a little higher. So take your inhale. You lift your arms. Arms are straight. Torso is stable. And then take a little peek at your legs. Sometimes our legs like to move on us. We're taking it one more time like this. Go into an arm circle here. Let's take our right arm, make a big circle up and around. Take your circle up and around. Right here, we're staying stable through your torso. Let's take the other arm up and around. You take it up and around. Check in. Zip up the core. Are you staying engaged through your rib cage? Now both your arms together. Take it up. Use your exhale to stay really strong through your center. We take one more. Let your arms relax. Shake it out. You can add a little hip side to side. And we are going to transition to all fours. Now, when we take it into all fours, we are going to take the foam roller to the front by our hands. My hands are going to go on the foam roller. We're coming into all fours. Now, I'm going to be placing my hands on the foam rollers. Keep in mind, if you don't like that, you would just take your hands back down to the floor. One little thing I like to mention, if your wrists bother you and you're taking your roller this way, you're going to have more flexion in your wrist. It might bother you more. So think about taking it so you have more of a straighter wrist. So they're coming more off the top. We're going to take a cow cat here. Remember, cow cat is for your vertebrae. So our shoulders stay still as you roll. And take it one vertebra at a time. Inhale. We do have to stabilize. So our roller stays in place here. Take one more. We are going to start zipping up our core here. Hold it in the center. Now you're going to have to get your center strong. Reach your right fingertips out to the front. Now when you did that, you want your hips to stay level, your shoulders stay level, and then you release. And we take it to the other side. So really engage your core. Everything stays level. You lift just your arm. And then release it down. Let's take our left foot out behind us. Once you have that, let's take our right fingertips. How does that feel? Keeping your hips level. Can you lift your leg just a little bit? It doesn't have to come really high. Ah, there comes your balance. A little bit of a challenge. We do this a lot with our hand on the floor. The roller adds another element. Release this side. We're going to take it to the other side. Take the right foot back. Once you have that, make sure you're leveling out your hips. Left fingertips. Here comes the lift if you want it. Hold it here. Take one more breath. You can release your arm and leg. We're taking a child's pose on our roller. I'm going to do this time by taking the roller. You can take it between your thighs. Sit back, add a nice little child's pose right here. Maybe you like to take your forehead to the roller, let your hips slide back. Take a nice breath into your rib cage, let the breath go. And we are starting to bring ourselves up. Have a seat at the end of your roller. So I'm going to crawl myself through. Have a seat. Now we're going to get ready to roll down. So make sure you're close to the end so that your head is still on the roller when you come through. First, we're going to meet at the end here. We're going to start with a little half roll down. Sit up tall, let your shoulders come back. You can always hold on to your thighs. This is similar to what we do when we're on the mat. I'll probably have my hands on the floor for balance. Bringing yourself a little bit, just bring yourself part way down, and then we bring ourselves right back up. So we're working on our roll down right here. Here comes the roll down, part way, and then you engage. Bring yourself up. We're doing it 2 more times like that. Bring yourself, roll down. You can support yourself on the floor. If you want to use the help of your thigh, use it. We're doing 1 more like that. Here comes the roll up. This time we're going to roll all the way down. Now, use the floor if you need to. Use your thighs. We are bringing ourselves all the way down. Head should be stable on the foam roller. It's right down the center. Use your feet. We'll start right here for finding our balance. We're starting by making some movement through our shoulder joint. Take your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to think, lift your shoulders up away from the foam roller. And then let your shoulder blades come down and wrap around the foam roller. Here comes the lift up and the pull back and down. So we're going to take our shoulder blades away from the roller, and now you're wrapping them around the roller. So we do want to pay attention to what's happening with our rib cage. Only our shoulder joint is moving. So if you're moving through your hips and your ribs, bring it in, stay active in the center. Let's take 1 more here. And now bring yourself right to center. So you're going to take yourself in your comfortable center part. Keep running down through your feet, zip through the core. Arms are going to open to the side. And then you bring your arms right back up to the center. So it's a little bit more of a challenge as you open and you bring it up. Here comes the open and the squeeze. Here's the open. And we're trying to stay level on our foam roller. This time, fingertips stay up towards the ceiling. Reach your arms overhead. Arms are going to stay straight, and then bring it back. Here comes the reach overhead, and then you bring it back. We're doing one more. We're going to let our fingertips come down to the floor. Hands are going to come down. Let's take our palms towards the ceiling. You can bring your feet in where it's comfortable. We're adding some bridges here. Upper body is relaxed. Press into your feet. You still want to think good alignment with your lower body. Press into your feet, lift your hips, and then bring it down. Now, just be aware of what's happening with your head. You still want to keep your throat open towards the ceiling. And we're taking our bridge. As you press, you lift, and then you gently tap down. You press into your feet, you lift, you pause, you gently bring it down. Here comes the lift and the lower. Let's go ahead, take it one more time. Now this time, lift up. Here comes the lift. As long as you're feeling stable, let's take our arms up. Let's add our wrist stretch here. So we're really challenging ourselves. Stay stable, stretch your wrist, fingertips towards your forehead. Switch to the other side. This time you're going to take your fingertips away. Thumb is coming into the crease. Then you take it on the other side. Let your arms come down. Let your hips come down. We are going right into some crunches. Take your hands behind your head. Add your exhale and lift and bring it down. Now, same as if we were on the floor. You're keeping your natural spinal curve. So our hips are staying level. You still have your little curve here. You exhale, you lift as you crunch up, and then you bring it down. Exhale, crunch, and bring it down. Exhale, crunch, bring it down. Here comes your 4. Exhale, lift, 3. Here's your 2. Take one more. We're going to keep our upper body down. Hands can come down by the side, fingertips on the floor. Here comes, zip the core, really stable. We march our feet. You're going to take one leg up. Can you stay stable? And then bring it down. Zip the core, lift the leg, set it down. So we want to stay really engaged. You lift one leg, you set it down, lift a leg, set it down. Exhale and lift. Exhale and lift. So keep strong through the center. Are you staying level on your foam roller as you lift one leg at a time? Now on the next one, we are going to be keeping our feet up, a little bit more of a challenge. There's the lift. You're going to bring the other leg up, a little bit more balance right here, zip through the core. Now we tap our feet down. You're going to tap a heel down, bring it up. Tap a heel down. Ooh, a little bit more work. Can you stay strong in the center? Are you staying on your roller as you tap one side and then you tap the other side? Let's do 4 more. There's your 4. Here's your 3. It's your 2. Meet with both your feet upright here. Hold it just a little bit more. And then gently let your feet come down. Let's come back to our crunches. Hands behind your head. Add your exhale and lift. Release down. Exhale, lift. Now we're going to take it into obliques. Take a lift. Lift your armpit off to the side. Center and down. It's a lift off to the side. Center and down. Here's your up. Little reach, center, down. Now we want to make sure we're lifting with our core. One of the ways to think about that is lift up. There's the twist, center, and down. Here's the lift, the center, and down. Go ahead, release everything down right here. Let's give ourselves a little bit of a stretch. You can open your shoulders up. Totally get it. If your chest is tight, this does not feel good. We are going to take it off to the side of our roller so that we can bring ourselves off. I'm taking it off the side. If you want to roll up, go for it. We are going to be transitioning, giving ourselves a little break from laying on the roller. We're going to have the roller out in front of us. We're taking our plank on the roller, setting it up here. Hands are going to be underneath your shoulders. Now you might start on all fours so you can get a feel of it. If you're working on more stability, take your feet up wider. So here it comes. One foot goes back. Check it out. How does it feel? Here comes the lift of the other one. So now you're holding your plank on your roller. Stay really long, top of the head to the toe to the heels. Right here, if your hips are falling down, zip up the core, squeeze your glutes, get really strong, and hold your plank here. Take one more breath. Knees can come down. Let your roller go. You're going to keep it close by. Now we are going to take a downward dog. Hands are going to be on the mat. Think downward dog on the roller. Could be dangerous for your shoulders. So here comes your downward dog. Pressing back, give yourself a nice stretch. We are going to walk our hands to our feet. We're going to roll all the way up, one vertebra at a time. I'm bringing in some squats first. Now I left the roller there because we're going to be adding our push-ups using the roller today. But first, let's take some squats. Bring it down and up. Here comes your squats. Down and up. Here's your down and your up. So we did quite a bit of work for our core. We already did some stuff for our hips. So if you want to take it down deeper, take it down deeper. Try to keep your chest lifted, but it's natural for it to come forward as you take your squat down. Let's take two more. Now on the next one, I want to add some heel lifts. Let's go ahead, bring our heels up, roll through your big toe. Little pause at the top, and then your heels come down. Here it comes. Heel lifts up, little pause at the top, and we bring it down. Two more times. Lift the heels, take the pause, release down. We have one more. Here's a lift. Now think of this tall posture that you have. Heels are coming down. This time we're going to lift just the toes. So we want to stay up tall. I'm going to use the wall behind me so I can lift and talk at the same time. Heels come up, check it out, nice and tall. So you don't, that we don't want to do. We want to stay up tall, and then you would like the toes, balls of the feet come back down to the mat. So here comes the lift up. I'm still working on it to keep my balance when I lift the balls of my feet up. And then you bring it down. Let's do two more. You're going to lift the feet up. Here's the lift. Yes, I am using assistance here. If I didn't have my foam roller over there to get ready for our push-ups, I would have used the foam roller to hold on to for balance. Go ahead, let the feet come down. We are going to roll down chin to chest. Rolling all the way down. Hands are coming towards the mat. Go ahead, walk your hands out. We're getting ready to push ups. For push-ups, I am using the foam roller. Our first set, hands are going to go wider. We're going to focus on the chest. Now, I'll be keeping my knees down. You still want your wrist under your shoulders. Make sure you're being nice to your wrist. And then you bring it down, you press, you bring it up. It's your down and your up. So right here, check to make sure your core is engaged. You might be on your toes, you might be on your knees. You might feel a little bit of a difference as we take it down and up on the foam roller. If it is not working for you today, skip it. Here comes your 4 and your 3. It's your 2. We meet in a downward dog. Take your hands to your mat though, that's for safety. Or skip it, take a quick child's pose, whatever feels good. Press yourself back, walk your hands to your feet. Gently roll yourself up 1 vertebra at a time. We are going into our curtsy lunge with a side leg lift. Right side only to start. Take the leg behind. So lunge back right here. And then you bring it up, find your balance, reach your toes. There's your lift. Here comes your down. Here comes your lift. Pause, hold. Here comes your down. And you're up. So we're working on our balance here, but we're also working on strengthening through our hips as we take it down and lift it up. We bring it down and lift it up. 3 more. Here's your lunge back. Now, if that bothers your knees, you would take the foot straight back instead of behind. 1 more time. Now, catch your balance. Keep your foot up right here. We're going to keep it up right here. Stand up really tall. Lift the top of your head towards the ceiling. Add little circles in one direction. Then you add the circles in the opposite direction. Foot can come down. Add your hip circles around. Switch, take your hip circles in the opposite direction. We have the other leg. Here comes the down. Here comes your lunge. Press. Bring it up. Here's your down. And your up and lift. Here's your down. And your lift. So we're really strengthening balance as you come up. We have 3 more. Now make sure you're sitting back. It's still like a little squat, so you want to think back through your hips. This is the one where we lift the leg, we keep it lifted. We're working on our balance here. There's the lift up. Add your circles one direction. And now we take it in the opposite direction. Go ahead, shake it out, give your hips some hip circles. We're getting ready to go for our second set of push-ups. Right here, chin to chest. Rolling down, hands meet the mat. You're walking out. I am using my knees. This time, give yourself a try with the tricep push-ups. That means arms are a little closer. Toes or knees, how do you feel? And then you add your slide down, you press, bring it up. Here comes your down and your up. So can you keep your core engaged as you go down and up? So these are just variations of the tricep push-ups that we usually do. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't, but it's worth giving it a try. It adds a little different challenge to the movement. Maybe a little bit more core to stay balanced on your roller. Take 1 more. And then bring yourself up. Pressing back into your child's pose, your downward dog. But it could be a child's pose too. And now we are going to walk our hands to our feet. We have 1 more exercise we're doing while we're standing. You're going to gently roll up. We're going into our knee lift into our single-legged deadlift. Make sure you have enough space in your room. We're going to stay on the right leg only, then we'll switch to the left. You'll start with your knee lift. Find your balance, and maybe you keep your toes down today as you work on this, or you lift up. Once you have the knee lift, then you would take your hinge, push your feet back. Now remember your options. You can always keep the foot down on the floor, or you can lift all the way up. It is going to be your knee lift, bring it up, and then you have your press back. Here comes the up. Feel free to tap down in between as you come up, a little reset there. Here comes the press back. Enjoy that full push back. Remember, toes can go down to the floor. Try to level out your hips though. One more time, let the knee come up, stand really tall. Pull in the core. Here comes the push back. Push, 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 push. Lengthen all the way. Can you reach the top of your head a little further? Bring yourself up. You can set your foot down. And now we take it to the other side. First, it's a knee lift. Find your balance. Once you have that, then it would be your single leg press back. Right here, sometimes we really have to focus to get our hips to level. I set my toes down. Feel free to take the version that works for you. And then when you're ready, we bring ourselves up for our knee lift. And now we push the heel out behind us. Here comes the knee lift. Find your balance, use control. Stand up tall. Here's the push back. We have one more to go. You would bring your knee up. You would press your foot out behind you. Bring yourself all the way back up. First, bring the little knee up so you get your balance one more time. And then your foot can go down. Shake it out. Meet at the back of your mat. We are rolling down one more time. We are doing one more set of push-ups. Chin to chest, rolling down. Once your hands meet the mat, walk out. You're going into a plank. Now I'll be using my knees, push-ups. Let's go chest push-ups as you take your hands out wider. Set yourself up. If you're on your toes and you're in between, feel free to take your feet wider. And then add your push-ups as you go down and up. There's your down and up. Stay in a nice long line. Now make sure you're moving as one long line. That means your hips are going to keep going with you. Our hips don't dip and they don't lift. Now with our hands wider, the focus is our chest. So you want to focus on a push up through your chest. Control down, push up. Here comes your 3. Here's your 2. And take one more. Bring yourself up. Our child's pose with the roller this time. Feel free to take your arms out on the roller and take it this way. And you might roll it out further, closer, whatever works for you. Give yourself a nice stretch. So we can stretch through our chest here, but we can also get a nice stretch through the back side of our body. Now we are going to roll all the way down to our bellies. Bring your roller with you. We can stay in front. We're going to keep it for our arms. We're going to start by having our arms on the roller. Our feet are going to ground down on the mat. And now we're going to think about reaching our shoulders forward and then slide your shoulders down your back. So we're keeping ourselves stable. Press the tops of your feet in the mat. Pull your belly in, and we are only moving our shoulders as they bring it forward. Now be really nice. We're not crunching in our neck, and then you slide back. Now we're gonna make this a little larger movement as long as it feels okay for your low back. If at any time you have discomfort in your low back, you change the movement. I like my feet wider. I'm gonna take them at least the width of my mat. And then you are going to bring yourself up, roll it in, little change here. Make sure your palms are facing each other. And then you're going to roll down, lengthen. Here comes the lift up, only as high as feels good for your back. Your rib cage is coming off the mat, but if you're lifting up too high, you're gonna feel it in your low back. Keep pushing the tops of the feet down. There's the lift, and then you gently roll and bring it out. Let's do 2 more. Roll it in, lift. Think lift with your upper back here, and then go ahead, release it down. Here comes the lift. Lift, lift, lift. And then go ahead, release it down. I'm gonna do one more movement while we're on our bellies. We do take our foam roller, we set it underneath our hips. So we're gonna work our glutes a little bit while we're here. You can be up on your forearms. Make sure it's in a good spot. It's gonna be a little different for all of us. You're gonna lift your feet up, legs up. Feet are coming together, think like frog legs. So my knees are out wide. And then you're gonna push the bottoms of your feet together and lift your legs a little bit, and it's like a little push. For 3, 2, 1, relax. Lots of work for our glutes here. Push, push the bottoms of your feet together. Push, 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 and then relax. Here comes a push, 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 push of your feet together, hamstring glutes, and then relax. Here comes the push of the bottoms of your feet. Push, 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 push. Relax. We're doing that one more time. Here comes the push, push, push of the bottoms of your feet together. Relax. Give yourself a nice child's pose or cow cat, whatever feels good, as you stretch yourself out. So that was some work for our hamstrings and our glutes. We're going to bring ourselves all the way through into a seated position. And we're going to add our spine twist using the roller. So we're going to hold the roller. Feet are going to be out the width of your mat, a little wider. Take it. If you need to sit on the block to keep your hips long spine, do that. Otherwise, your full roller's out in front of you. When you twist today, we're going to do a little 3, 2, 1, and center. Here's your little 3, 2, 1, center. We're sitting up tall. Think oblique, obliques, obliques, and center. It's a twist, twist. It's core right here. There's your little 3, 2, 1, center. 3, 2, 1, center. There's your 3, 2, 1. I'm trying to breathe and count. It's 3, 2, 1. One more time. 3, 2, 1. Bring your legs together. Take a nice spine stretch. You can let the roller come forward. Wherever it works for you, knees can always bend, round through your spine. Give yourself a nice stretch through your back right here. We're going to bring ourselves up. We're going to take the roller. So now we're going to be having our hands on the roller this way. It's going to be a reverse. I'm going to be doing a tabletop. Please feel free, if you like to do a plank, that means with your straight legs while you do this, feel free to do that too. I'm not ready for that. So today I'm going to stick with our reverse tabletop. Hands are on the roller. You're going to lift your hips up. Here's your little hold up. There's your reverse tabletop. Lift your hips, lift, lift, lift. Hold it here. You're still zipping the core, bringing your ribcage in, and then you let your hips come back down to the floor. You're gonna take the lift up. Here comes the lift. Lift, 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 lift. Release it down. Now, I do want you to think when you lift up right here, take the lift, hold it here, squeeze your glutes. But your legs, they're still going straight forward. If they're flaring, Can you push the whole foot down into the floor, including the big toe, if you're flaring out? And then bring yourself down. Now, I'm going to add some tricep dips here, so we get one more exercise for our triceps. Hips are going to stay next to the foam roller, and then you add your little dip and bring it up. Now, this is the focus is the back of our arms. So if you're moving just your hips up and down, you're going to miss all the good stuff for the back of your arms. So you want to think, bend. We don't have to go all the way down. You can just take that little dip down, press, bring it up. Our shoulders are staying relaxed. Let's do 4 more. Here comes your 3. It's your 2. And one more time. Go ahead, bring it up. Go ahead, set it down. Give your wrist a little bit of a wrist circle if you need that, if it's a little stretch for your triceps. If you did it right, you're gonna have felt the back of your arms. So shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Our arms are getting a little bit of a break. We are going to be coming into a balance move using our foam roller. We're gonna take it on our shins this time. So we're gonna come into, think of your boat pose where you're kind of leaning back. You're gonna lift your legs up here, and you're gonna balance your foam roller on your shins. And there you go. You're gonna hold it right here. Right? We're gonna breathe. Stay strong right here. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Oh, my foam roller is rolling down my legs. We're trying to keep it in one spot, and then go ahead, bring yourself, sit up nice and tall. We'll do that one more time, sitting up tall. First, you slide back. Let's see if we can balance right here. So you're kind of balancing on your tailbone. That's the core work. Now we're gonna see if we can get our foam roller to level, stay on our shins. A little bit more shaky second time through. Maybe not for you, but for me. Exhale, exhale. Ooh, my little foam roller is rolling away. And go ahead, release it. Sit up nice and tall. Give yourself a nice stretch. Bottoms of the feet can come together. We're gonna sit up tall here. Maybe you add a little hinge. We're gonna bring ourselves up. And I did not forget about the 100. We are going to do the 100 on our foam roller. So we do need to set ourselves up in our long roller setup. Have a seat on your roller. And again, we want to make sure our head is still on the roller too. Here comes the hard part, right? Setting our roller up. Now we're going to roll down, or if you want to just bring yourself down, whatever way is comfortable for you. Let's start. Bring yourself down. Now, before we go into the 100, I'm going to get some stabilizing. Get our core, get used to laying on the roller first. Hands can come by your side. Leg circles to begin with. Take one leg up. Get your outward rotation. Zip the core, get stable. Add your circles around in one direction. There's your circle around and around. Let's switch directions. You might notice maybe you have to make your circle a little smaller to stay stable. Maybe you're making a larger circle, but we do want to keep our bottom leg stable, core engaged. Release this side. We take it opposite side, ground the foot you had up. Reach up, add your outward rotation. Zip the core, get strong, stable. There comes your circle. Take it around, use your exhale, get deeper into your core. Now we switch directions, take it around. Hopefully taking this leg circle up on your foam roller kind of gives you an idea how much engagement you need when you do this when you're flat on the mat. Go ahead, release the leg down. Now we're coming into our 100. I will be keeping my feet down on the floor as we reach our fingertips to our toes. Take the big exhale, lift up. Here's the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. You could challenge yourself and lift one leg at a time if you want to take that option. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 80. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 90. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, release down. Let yourself relax. Maybe you take a little look to the right. This is a great place to stretch your neck. You look to the left. So you're rolling the back of your head on the foam roller. Only go as far as comfortable for you. We are going to meet. Hands can be on the floor to help stabilize. We're going to meet with both of our legs up, so really get your core engaged. Ooh, there's your up. We're adding our little scissors legs. There we go. We switch and switch. Now, if you're rocking it, think soft on your fingertips. And if you're really rocking it, you can even start taking your hands away from the floor. And your scissor legs go as large as comfortable for you. So you might have them going all the way straight. You might have them smaller at the top. There's your 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go ahead and meet with our toes up. We're going to add our open and close. Open and close. Woo. There's your open and close. Now just make sure your legs are over your hips as you open and close. There's your open and your close. Here's your open and close. Let's do 4, 3. It's your 2. And bring your feet back down to the ground. As soon as you finish it, you can bring your feet down. Add a little bridge. Just lift your hips. Give yourself a nice little stretch through your hips. Don't worry, I didn't forget. We will be doing more bridge work. We're just not going to do it in this position right now. We're going to add our arms are going to come up. So now we're going to add one other little challenge. And then with your arms up, engage your core, lift one leg. So here comes the focus, lift up. So this is way easier to do when I'm not trying to talk as well. So lift the leg and then go ahead and bring it down. I'm not saying it's easy. It was hard then too, but I have to focus so I don't roll off my foam roller here. Lift a leg, bring it up. And because I can't see you, I totally get some of you might be like, Tracy, this is super easy. If you're not having any challenges with this, add the arm. It's your dead bug up on your foam roller. I will be sticking right here as I lift a leg and bring it down. It's great to do stuff like this because you find out where should I be challenging myself and working a little bit more when I don't have the foam roller. And I definitely have one side that works better than the other. Let's do it one more time on each side. And then we are going to keep both of our feet down on the floor. That was really sloppy. Hopefully you all did better than that. We're going to reach our fingertips away. We're adding a little lift up. And then we come into the reach of your heel, oblique. Reach and center. There's your reach and center, reach and center. Remember, the lift up is through the core. Be nice to your neck. Here comes your 4 and your 3 It's your 2, and there's your last one. Go ahead, bring it down. Now my block happens to be nearby. I should have mentioned this. This is where I like to add some pullovers with our block. Feet are down on the floor. You would add the reach over. This is a little bit more stabilizing, so we did quite a bit of movement here. Let's go ahead, reach the block over. Think core zips up, rib cage stays in. This is one of those movements where we like to arch through our back. Let's see if we can keep our rib cage in and together as you take your arms overhead. Now, when I say overhead, make sure you can still see them in your peripheral vision. So you still want to be able to see them. You don't need to bring them so far back. We're going to do 2 more right here. There's 1. And here comes your second one. And while we're laying on the foam roller, I am going to add a little stretch right here, something for y'all to, when you get any tightness. We're going to stay where we are on the foam roller and then just add a little roll off to the side. So you're kind of rolling closer to your shoulder blade. And then you bring it back to center and off to the other side. So you are, this time, this is about giving yourself a nice little stretch through your back. So you're rolling, your hips can roll off to the side. And then you take it off to the other side. Here comes off to one side. And then off to the other side. Let's do it one more time. And if you find, I call them sweet spots, where it's a little more tender, hang out there and enjoy the little release of tension in that spot. There comes your last one. You can go ahead, bring yourself off the foam roller. Maybe you choose to roll up. Last time you saw me bring myself and just roll off the roller that way. We're going to come off the roller. We are going to do our bridge work. So like I said, I like to show just different variations. You might find some of them you like to do when you're at home watching TV. So we're going to do our bridge with our feet on the roller. This is going to add an additional challenge. So you might feel a little bit more work happening in your hamstrings and your glutes. And when I say that, that's my way of saying sometimes we get cramps when we work our muscles in new ways. Take your feet on your roller, arms are by your side, and then we add, lift your hips up, and then you gently bring your hips down. We're gonna lift our hips up, and now just take your time so you can enjoy the full movement. Feel the squeeze of your glutes, your hamstrings at the top. Maybe you can already feel the back of your legs working as you lift up and you bring it down. Here's a lift up and you bring it down. Now, what do you think? Do you think you can add the march of a leg as you do this? So you would press and you would lift, and then you would bring it down and switch. Press and lift, and bring it down. Push into your foot, lift, hip, hamstring. We bring it down. Foot goes down, lift, push, and bring it down. Maybe this is a variation of the move that you like a lot. So when we do our Pilates classes, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, if you like it, you could always use the foam roller under your feet when you practice. And if you don't have your foam roller out, you could always use your block under one foot at a time. There comes your up and your down. There's your up and you're down. One more time here. I am going to end with both of our feet on the foam roller. Can we add the lift up? Hold it up right here. Soft tap down. Let's do 4 more. Press into your feet, lift, pause, and bring it down. Here's the 3, lift, pause. Knees are still shooting straight ahead. We still want to make sure we're using good form. Here comes your last one. And go ahead, release. Bring your knees in. Give yourself a nice little stretch right here through your hamstrings. I don't know about you, I felt the back of my legs working, so give yourself a nice little stretch here. Give yourself a nice little rolling, whatever feels good. We do have a couple more exercises I want to add in to show additional variations that you may or may not have seen before. So we are going to bring ourselves up. I rolled up. Our first one is our all fours. With this time, the roller is going to be underneath our ankles. So we're going to hold it here. And then let's ground yourself, pull your core. Take the opposite arm to the front. So can you tell the difference from when we had the roller under our hands versus under our ankles? Bring it down. And now we take it to the other side. Here comes the lift up. So that is what it feels like with our arms moving. Can we add the leg behind and then lift up here? So maybe you thought this felt easier, maybe you felt harder. It's a change, right? And every time we change something, our body has to work in a little different way to maintain that. Let's go ahead, switch. Thank goodness we're all so good at all fours, right? First, you can take the leg back, make sure your hips are level, and then here comes the lift up. Hold it here. And do you notice one side might feel easier than the other side? And then go ahead, release down. Give yourself a little cow cat. We are doing one more move. We are going to practice our plank with our ankles on the foam roller. So shake your arms out right here. Get yourself ready. It does feel different to have your ankles on the foam roller. So you would take it out right here. You still want to keep that good form. So squeeze in, hips are lifting, and hold your plank right here. I like to drop my head, so make sure you're keeping your head in alignment. Your shoulders pull back, your core zips up. Can you hold it just a little bit longer right here? Hold it, hold it, hold it. And then go ahead. Release. Give yourself a nice child's pose, stretch back. Move the foam roller if you don't like it underneath your feet. Go ahead, take it back underneath your arms. Maybe you take it down the center. Give yourself a nice little stretch, releasing. We'll start bringing ourselves all the way up. I'm going to add a little stretch off to the side right here. Let's take, you're sitting comfortably, whatever, bringing it in. What we're doing is adding a side stretch here. So you're going to lengthen right here. You can slide your arm down the side. And then bring yourself and take this stretch off. The other way, give yourself a stretch down that side. And bring it back to center. We're going to switch over to the other side. Take that long stretch, reaching out. And here comes off to the other side. Nice long stretch. That should feel good. And go ahead. Bring yourself up. I am going to toss in the side plank. So we have just enough time to get a side plank in here. We're going to come off to the side. Let's keep it down on our elbow. That adds a little challenge. I'll be keeping my knee down. Feel free to lift your top leg or stack your feet, stay here. I like to add this. It's a great move. Here comes the lift, and you hold, 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 lift it up. And then bring yourself down. Let's take it over to the other side. Run down through your foot, through your hip, whatever, you know what I'm saying. It's your side plank. I'm looking forward to some stretching. Hopefully you are too. Let's hold this side plank here. Leg can come up. And then you gently release yourself down. Go ahead, give yourself a nice little roll through your upper body. Now we're gonna start by stretching our lower body. I'm gonna start by doing our lower body first because sometimes we are working our upper body to get our lower body stretched out when we are doing our foam rolling. I'll take it to the side. I am going to start. Now you can always, when you're standing, if the bottoms of your feet are tight, you can always roll the bottoms of your feet out on your foam roller. So it's just, I do like to remind you, our feet like to be stretched as well. So you can always roll the bottoms of your feet. When you're standing, you can add all your weight off to one side or the other. Just be nice to your feet. They take a lot of beating from us all day long. So just keep in mind, stretching your feet, and you do know I like the little toe stretch. So if you're ever in a class, I do like to stretch toes out. But we're gonna start with our lower legs, our calf muscles. Now you might choose to do one at a time. So you would have your leg on the foam roller. Start at, we never want to hit the joints, so you would stay where you're in the meat. Think of the meat of the muscle. That's where you're going to be. And then you would gently give yourself a little roll. Let the leg relax on the foam roller. Check it out. See how it feels. And the whole idea on this is there is a good chance you're going to find a spot that's a little tender. And when you find that spot, you're going to stay there. And you're going to let that release. Now, I roll my calves out quite often, so I'm going to do both my legs at the same time. Here, this is what I'm saying we use our upper body. You kind of have to use your upper body, scoot forward a little bit. The idea with foam rolling is we take our time. It's a slow roll. And then when you find the spot that's tender, you kind of hang out there. So you'll see I'm using my upper body to hold myself up. You might not want to do that. We did do quite a few planks. We did some work. So you can always roll and set down. If you need more pressure, you would take one leg on top of the other. And you're going to go, wow, yep, I can feel that. That's too much for me. So I'm not going to do that. But that is another great option if you want to add a little bit more, if there's a spot. Now, our calves, I'm rolling, toes are straight up. I'm catching the straight back part of my calves, but there's my tight spot. You would hold the tight spot for a little while, think 20 seconds at least, but you could hold it at least a minute. But if you're not feeling anything, make sure you add a little bit of an outward rotation, and maybe, especially if you walk with your feet out, you might find that you have tenderness on the outside of your calves versus down the center or the middle. And that goes as well for the inside. So you might want to bring your legs, give out yourself a little bit of inward rotation, and there's that meaty part. And you might find that it's more tender. So what I did is, so when you find your spot, you stay there. Just remember we're moving really slow. So I had toes can come in a little bit, and you're going to feel a different area of your calves. Ooh, right? There's some spots that are a little more tender. And then you could also take it out. So then you saw my toes go out. So there we spent a little bit of time on our calves. We're going to move up to our hamstrings. Just make sure you avoid underneath your knees. And here comes, like I said, we're always maneuvering our body. So our hamstrings, we're going to roll. And now we're going from the bottom of your butt, kind of rolling through. And then maybe you need to add a little more resistance or a little less. So I'm adding a little bit more weight into my hamstring as I slide and glide. And you might find, ooh, there's a little tight spot. Enjoy the hamstrings and the calves, because when we get to the IT bands, then you're gonna feel some tightness. If you don't, you are a lucky, lucky person. I don't really do my IT bands very often, so you would probably won't hang out there very, very long because I find them tender. But here comes the roll of your hamstring. Now we're gonna move from our hamstrings onto our glutes. So to go to your glutes, you would sit on the foam roller all different ways. You might like to do a little figure 4 and roll this way. Now we usually have quite a few tender spots. So you might find, ooh, it's up towards the top. Now remember, we're not doing any of our bones. We're not going up into our pelvis or our low back. This is all butt area. And you might find that you have tightness maybe in your upper glute. It might be coming down and through the center. This is a great one. So you might do figure 4. There's all different. You might choose to have your leg out straight. The thing with doing all these is you have to find where it works for you. So it might be the figure 4, but it might be, leg is straight. When you change where your leg is, it changes where the stretch is. Let's go ahead, take it to the other side. Make sure we catch both of our glutes. So you could do figure 4, maybe one side figure 4 works great. And then on the other side, you're like, nope, I'll keep my legs straight. Check it out. Just remember when you find that tender spot, hang out there and let the pressure release when you get to that spot. We hold a lot of tension. Our glutes usually get quite a bit. We get a lot of issues with tightness. That's where our piriformis is. Sciatica is that pinching of the nerve that's actually right down your butt. So sometimes relaxing your butt can release some of that pressure on nerves if you ever have any issues there. But talk to your doctor about that, because I'm not a doctor. And there we go. We're going to move on. We're going to catch our quadriceps. Yes, I am procrastinating getting to our IT band. So we're going to come to our quadriceps. Front of our thighs, you're going to be rolling. Now make sure, avoid your hip, that area. And then you would gently roll. Roll, roll, roll. And you might find a tender spot in your quads, but maybe not. Just take your time though. Speed is not your friend when it comes to doing this. You want to find those spots and then release any tension you might feel there. So when I find it, I kind of hang out there. I say enjoy it, right? It's a good discomfort. If it's painful and you're like, then skip it. That's not a good discomfort. That's a bad discomfort. So that is a stretch for your quadriceps. We're going to keep going. Now, to catch your inner thigh, you would bring yourself down. See, we have to get all kinds of crazy, right? Here comes. Inner thigh is on the foam roller. And then you add the roll. And you have to admit, some of these feel really good. You're like, oh, I wish I was doing that before, right? And then this one, you might also find straightening your leg, you're gonna feel a different sensation. So you might have the leg bent, but you might have the leg straight and it feels a little different. And make sure you bring yourself up and then take your time. We have the other leg to do. And keep in mind where you felt the most tension, and then that might be something where you want to spend a little extra time on, right? We're totally going to do this when we're watching TV, or not. I don't know. Maybe you will. And there comes the, make sure you switch so we can get both of our legs. And then you're going to add the full roll, roll, roll. Now remember, straight leg feels different. I like to pay attention when I'm doing the rolling. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I can feel that. And it could be in my hip. It could be like, oh, I can feel that in my hamstring. I don't know. And it kind of gives you an idea how everything is connected in your body, how one thing affects something else. There we go. I have procrastinated to the point that we are now going to do our IT band. And if any of you have done this stretch, you're well aware of what I'm talking about. You're stretching the outer part of your thigh. I will be keeping myself up using just a little bit because mine are mega tight. Oh. When I say bad, like bad, I'm going to just avoid it and try to stay really light on my IT band. And then you take it. So we have the IT band on and that is actually more of a tendon, but you have all the fascia below it, and that's what we're really trying to stretch out. This one makes me sweat sometimes. I don't know about you all. Maybe you had other areas that made you start sweating. I am going to switch to the other side. I'll let you guys enjoy that IT band stretch more on your own when maybe when I'm not on the camera, then I'll enjoy it more. Ooh, not my favorite at all. You might be able to definitely do more than I can, so go for it. Just be nice to yourself. So I'm going to let you all keep going on there. That was enough for me. We all have our little spots that are way enough. That was mine. Now, let's give ourselves in the back. We're going to open up through our chest a little bit. I do want to catch our upper body some. Right here, you're taking it in the middle of your back. I get it. If your chest is super tight, if your back is really tight, this is not going to feel good. Otherwise, you're going to take it and you're going to let yourself relax, open up right here. Please feel free to use the block underneath your head as you open. You can even add a little rolling. Maybe you take your hands across the front and you add a rolling. Now, we don't go all the way down or back. We're going to keep this more up toward the top. And then from here, bring yourself off to the side. This is going to be our lats. So you're going to have it by your armpit. And you're going to, and again, is there a tender spot? One little side note. We do the same thing. Hold your tightness, hold your top area. Our lower body takes longer to release in a stretch or when we're doing this type of thing than our upper body. So you might find that, oh, your lats actually release the tension quicker than what you felt in your hamstrings, your glutes, or your calves. Same idea though, slow and steady. Now, while we're here, you can, well, let's catch the lat on the other side. Make sure we catch both sides. Right, we're all over the floor on this. If you have a graceful way of doing this, once you have which exercises or which stretches you want most, you can kind of coordinate them together too. So there is the little tightness as you roll. And again, remember to hang out in those spots that are a little tighter. Now I want to make sure I can show you a couple more. If you want to take your forearms, you would be here and you would roll. Some people really tight on their forearms. So you could roll this way, or vice versa. It could be on your forearms here and you roll on the front of your arms. And you might notice little different areas of your forearms are a little more tender than others. So there's your forearms. You can also catch your pec. You would take the foam roller by your armpit. I'll go this way so you can see what I'm doing. You're taking it by your armpit. So if your chest is really tight, and then you would kind of roll onto your there, and you would get your chest, bicep. These are ones you would be, see my thumb is down so I can catch the bicep. And sometimes when our shoulders are really tight, it will cause our biceps to get irritated or vice versa. Let's make sure we catch both sides. First, it's the chest. So there's your armpit, and you would use your opposite hand to kind of press, get a little bit more into your chest. And then if you want to catch your bicep, you would roll it here. And some of these work better if you have a ball. You can get more targeted areas. And there, I think I caught most of it. But if you ever have any questions, let me know, and I will see what I have for an answer. Otherwise, let's bring ourselves up. Let's give ourselves one more nice big child's pose. Time is up already. So let's go ahead, give yourself one more big stretch, take a child's pose. Maybe it's the rolling this way. This adds more stretching for your lats. This down through the center, a little bit more relaxing as you let your hips relax down, whichever one feels good. Let's give ourselves a great big shoulder roll. Roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Add your inhale. Let's inhale all the way up. Exhale, blow it out. Can you do that one more time? Nice big inhale up. Exhale, blow it out. And I want to thank you all very much. Hopefully you're all stretched out good. You feel good and you're ready to go for the day.